Welcome back to Walk-Ins. Welcome, and we're happy to have you guys on here today. And we're going to talk today about experience, the user's experience, from my experience only. Nick's like, I'm not going to say much today, but that's okay. I think you'll have some input.
I will say things.
But this is actually an extension from an earlier episode, just because I'm always impressed with a good experience, and I want to talk about why.
So this is like a patient care experience 2.0 of personal experience.
Yeah, it is, because this is like the happening as it is experience and the after the care experience I just went through.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't care. I'll just say I had a colonoscopy the other day, and I'm fine, by the way. We'll just clear that. Yay. I have Everyone Poops book on my desk right now.
That was fantastic. If I do say something.
If you want to know a little bit about our culture, I show up today and there is Everybody Poops book on my desk.
It's that kids book.
Yeah.
To talk kids like for potty training.
Yeah, exactly. So now we're having a good time with that. Anyway, welcome to our culture. Yeah. But anyway, so I just want to talk. So this is the same company that I mentioned where a couple of weeks ago, I had an appointment, and they said, okay, and they walked me over to the registration desk. Like, this lady will take care of you. This is what they're going to do. And like that was really good. All right, so that was like my first experience. Well, then I had the full experience the other day, and I have to say, there were some little things they did that was super impressive, and I just want to go over that and just this really kind of just telling our audience the little things matter.
Right.
The little tiny things really do matter, and it makes the overall experience just a whole lot nicer. But let's just start with the basics. First off, like for what I had to have done, they have a very detailed sheet they give you, all the worksheet, all that stuff. They have a personalized phone number you call. It's like, please call this lady. Like, don't just call her office. Call this lady, and she'll help you with any questions you might have. Like, that's good.
Wait. So you didn't call up and get a recording and have to press 6 and then have to press 1 again and then press 2.
Yeah, here's the lady. Call this number.
And then finally get to somebody just to have to leave a message.
And then they'll say, who is this? Wait, what is this? And no, this lady was the one that gave me all the stuff to prepare. She said, here's my number. Call me if you have any questions. And she even like highlighted on the worksheet, these are the key things you want to do. You may like, here's the exact time you want to do them. Like, it was super specific. And when I reread the instructions 2 or 3 times, like, okay, this all makes sense. Like, it's easy. But yeah, that's one little thing, right? So the next little thing was, so they said, you'll have it at 1, be here at noon. Well, my default is I always want to get there earlier because I don't know what's going to happen.
Sure.
So even though this is part of
Wait, is that why we get to the airport like 2.5 hours early?
Yes. Because you never know. Now, the airport, it's kind of like hit and miss. Like, are we going to now here in Birmingham?
In Birmingham, it's not hit or miss. You can show up 30 minutes before your flight.
Except for that one time. Yeah. There was that one time. There's always that one time. Anyway, so like I want to show up to the hospital a little early. So I try to show up like 11:30, 11:40. And parking was a little bit of a challenge. I think parking at a hospital is always a challenge. I don't know why.
Because they hate you parking there.
But I've learned from my UAB days, just keep driving really slow through the parking lot, and somebody will pop on the reverse lights, and you stop real hard. Nice. So we found that one parking spot that was convenient. So we go straight into the waiting room, which is, there's no hallway to it. It's like you open the door. Here's the waiting room. So it's like instant in.
Okay.
And then the lady's like, come on over here. And she's like super nice. Like, this is what I want you to do. And it wasn't like a full check-in because they called me the day before and said, and like, I got to go through. So for 5 minutes on the phone the day before, she went through like 20 questions with me. And then they had already filled it out.
Okay.
I didn't have to refill it out.
You mean they had already populated your information?
All my information was populated. And so the sheet that I had to fill out this time was just who's picking you up.
Okay. Because you're not going to be able to drive.
Yeah. What's their phone number? What's the relationship? Can we tell them what we did? Check. It's all PHI stuff. And I was like, okay. Like, and I had it right back. She said, oh no, just hang on to it. That number I wrote on your sheet is the number they'll call out and they'll get you. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm sitting there and they call out my number and I go over there and they say, okay, here's this. And they already warned me, like, this is what you're going to pay that day.
Wow.
They told me that on the phone on a separate call. Like, hey, by the way, this is what it's going to be when you show up. We don't do checks. Just FYI, I just want to reiterate that we don't do checks. You can use credit, debit card, whatever. But this is how much you're supposed to pay.
Should have given them a money order.
Yeah, can I write them? I mean, I had enough time. They gave it to me in time. And so that was super. She was having a good time. They were laughing at my daughter in the lobby because Addie was.
Look, man, your daughter's the best.
Yeah,
That's
she.
why.
They're all chuckling, and so they're all having a good time. And like she was super nice the whole way through. And then she said, "Well, just hang on to this. Don't call your number." I'm like, "Okay." And they called. So they told me to be there at noon. It was 1 o'clock. They called me back at like 12:15, 12:20.
Right.
I handed her the thing, and she verifies the info, and they go through it, and the whole time we're just having a conversation. They never like left me alone or anything like that. Just like, what do I do now? They even had Bluetooth speakers in there that they were playing music to.
That's cool.
I mean, it was just super chill, and when they rolled me around to the actual surgery room, operation room, whatever, there were probably 5 people in there, and they all introduced themselves as, "This is what I'm be doing. This is what I'm be doing." And I just started having conversations because we're just kind of waiting, and like just super easygoing.
Very laid back. I mean, but was that good or bad? The super laid back. I mean, you're about to do things to me. Like, do I want you to be laid back?
It
and
was
chill,
laid
or
back, but it was
focused
also
and
like, we're
professional?
doing these things. What questions do you have?
I got you. Okay.
This is my name is this. This is what I'll be doing for you today. And they were all doing that. I probably had the most conversation between my main nurse and the anesthesiologist, and we were just having like, I found out like my main nurse, she had 4 lived and one was adopted from China. She lived in China for a whole year.
Oh, that's cool.
Like, it was like really cool to just talk to him. And then the other anesthesiologist was like, "Yeah, I have 2 kids, and I only work these many days a week, and you're my 11th patient today." I'm like, okay,
That's a lot.
Yeah, like they know what they're doing.
I just think it like I've got 5 or 6 meetings today. That's a lot of meetings for me.
Yeah, and she was on number 11.
I know.
By 1 o'clock.
No.
But now they actually, so their hours, they shut off at 3 o'clock. Doors closed.
How long is the procedure?
20 minutes.
Oh, well, that's why my meetings go longer.
Yeah, but there's probably an hour worth of prep mixed into that.
Yeah, I know, but like that's her. It's a team effort.
It is.
It's a team
but
effort.
it
period.
was smooth as butter, and everything they told me was happening. Like, it wasn't just, "Oh, hang on, we got to do this, we got to do that."
Did it follow the 3 H's?
Oh, you got to remind me.
All right, here's what we're gonna do.
Oh, yeah.
Here's what we're doing.
Here's what we're doing.
Here's
what just
we did.
happened. It was the 3 H's of a health procedure.
That's right.
Or health process. And so we go through that, and I mean, and his anesthesiologist, went under anesthesia and, talked to the doctor. Then the next thing I remember, I'm talking to a new nurse. And, I wake up, and nurse is like, "Well, we're about to get ready for you to leave." I'm like, "Okay." She said, "How do you feel?" and all that stuff. Good. But the coolest part was, like, I didn't even realize that they just handed me an envelope of stuff as they put me in a wheelchair and took me out to the car. And, it had the follow-up work. They had already talked to my wife and said this and explained everything that they had, what happened and blah, blah, blah. But the coolest part, I didn't even realize it until late last night or this morning. There was a postcard, and on the postcard it said, "Thank you so much for choosing us to be part of your health, whatever. Here are the people that you interacted with today." And it had everyone's signature, not a preprint thing. Like, it had like the titles in place, and then because those are the key people that you're working with, and everyone had their own. I know it was a real signature because one kind of messed up their E, and they marked it out and rewrote the E.
Right.
And it was so simple. But now I know who these people were, and they were super nice the whole time, and that was extremely positive. Like, I can't really explain how, like, it felt good, right? And
Well, I mean, they walked you through the entire process.
they did, and they were communicating the whole way through, and they did exactly what they said they were going to do. And they even said on the thing, "There will be a nurse that will follow up with you the next day to make sure you're okay." And on lunch today, I got a call from William, and he said, "I'm just checking to make sure you're okay. If you had any issues," like, "I'm great, William. Hope you're having a great day too." He's like, "I'm absolutely," like, that was it. And it wasn't like robotic sterile. It was very just friendly.
I love it. I took notes because that's what I do.
I wish we could do marketing for them because it'd be so easy.
All you gotta do is just call them, say, "Come on, let's do
Yeah.
it."
And they have a new logo. Looks
Hey,
good.
if you're listening, just kidding. No. So there were clear expectations set. I put clear like 5 times over here, but
Yeah.
like they set the expectations on everything that was going to happen.
Yep.
Right. And they communicated that clearly, like understandably, simple, fifth grade level. Right. They did the things that they said they were going to do. and they followed up to make sure that you were okay.
Yeah.
That's an exceptional patient experience.
And I would even say if I did not show up early, if I showed up when they told me to show up, instead of sitting there for like 45 minutes to an hour in the waiting room in the lobby because I just showed up early, I was sat there maybe 20 minutes.
Okay.
And they were cycling people too. Like it was like at one point probably 15, 20 people in the room, and then it got down to like 5 really fast. Like they were in line, chugging along, like no delays.
I mean, that sounds like they've got it.
It's efficient.
Systemized.
Yeah, it's efficient, systemized. And the side note too. So right when I was waiting when I got onto the, I guess it's in the prep area, get on the gurney thing, whatever. I joked that I said, "Yeah, a coworker told me this is like a spa." She's like, "Here comes the spa part," and she hands me a warmed up towel or like blanket and puts it on me. She's, "There you go."
Yeah, so our operations manager was like, "You're about to have the best day ever," and I'm over here going, "That doesn't sound like the best day."
And
ever.
it really was. Like, in all honesty,
Well, you said it was the prep work that was the problem.
the prep is always the problem, like, because the things you have to do to get your body ready for something like that, super annoying,
Right.
come 100% doable. But when you actually do all that, you're like, oh, because like to put that in perspective, I go in and like, I never imagined that I could go into a hospital, have some type of procedure done, and leave the hospital in 2 hours.
That's unheard of.
That's what happened, though.
Yeah, for a surgery, typically you get there at 6 a.m. when they tell you to show up. The doctor shows up at 8. They do whatever they do, and then at 3 o'clock you finally go back.
Yeah, and then your recovery, like you're just sitting in an empty room.
That's it.
Yeah.
And they bring you a cup of ice.
Well, it was funny. Even when I woke up, they said, "What do you want to drink?" And she pointed over, and they had like 5 different types of Cokes and stuff, just sitting there. Which one do you want? I'm like, I'll take just a regular Coke.
How many types of Coke?
Like 5.
I love that. I love that about the South.
Oh yeah,
It's a Dr. Pepper,
soda
a
pop.
Sprite, and all that. No, it's a Coke. There's 5 different kinds. Which one do you want?
Yeah, exactly.
Pepsi?
Like,
No,
we're in the
that's
South.
not a Coke.
This is Birmingham.
That's right.
But anyway, but that like everybody was smiling, having a good. I kind of laughed because when they're doing the final prep piece, they were all talking about lunch.
Right.
And one was like, "Yeah, I had this chuckers to use the Instant Pot for." And I joked, I said, "It must be a big deal to have lunch around here."
I guess so.
So anyway, but it was just cool just to, I don't know. I felt like we were all kind of friends for like half a second.
Well, and I'm sure you will be, and you'll recommend them.
Yeah, I don't
You'll
have any
probably
issue.
leave them a review.
I actually want to, because now that I have all their actual names,
Yeah.
I can leave a review and say, this person was super cool. Like,
Don't do it though. Let's see if they solicit one.
okay, I'll wait.
I want to see if
I'll
they
wait a little
solicit
bit.
at least a survey or something.
'Cause I did get
want
all-
to see their follow-up process after that.
Because I did get all the confirmation texts. Like,
Right.
please confirm this, please
Right.
confirm that, all the texting.
So why do we bring these stories to our listeners? We want you to put it into practice.
And none of this is hard.
No.
It really is. Like, there was nothing about they went over the top on.
Okay, you say that. You say it's not hard. I want to give reality to the situation. It didn't start off that way.
No.
Okay. What I mean by that is they're intentional. And anything that's become intentional inside of an organization started off as rocky and difficult and feedback and all the things that go along. You can bet they have a weekly meeting where they talk about wins. They talk about the service they provide. They talk about their mission, vision, and values. I'll be willing to bet it. So when you see something operating that smoothly, something that's operating that fluidly, right? That's by design. That's not an accident.
Yeah. Well, and to think about that too, so there are probably minute things that they like that little card with all their names on it, that probably took years to get to that point.
Right.
Because it seems obvious. All the things that seem obvious now is because it took years to make the right choice.
Right.
And but like looking at the prep sheet they gave, there's like that prep sheet was so specific in what it wanted me to do and what the purchase and all that stuff like that. That it wasn't just like an overnight. This is it. Like there was a lot of back and forth to get to that right point. And then the way talking to them, like they're very efficient, which means they have lots of people in place to implement and make it all happen to make it efficient. Because if they had like 2 people down or whatever, it wouldn't have been as good, right?
Well, no, I mean when the conveyor belt's broken.
Right, or it's missing a wheel.
Yeah.
It's a little shaky. Because like the doctor did whatever I no joke, I may have talked to him for 30 seconds, and that's the last time I saw him.
That sounds like our dentist. You're a dentist listening.
Yeah.
I know the person who does like the hygienist.
Yeah.
And I guess I know my dentist, but she's talked to me for about 45 seconds ever.
Yeah, right. And if it's ever longer, there's probably a problem.
Yeah, or they're doing some kind of specialized work. I think I had a chipped tooth that they had, put whatever that is, whatever that stuff that's permanently there. But the point is the reason we bring these kind of stories, the reason we bring these information to this podcast is through story and through experience, you can implement things that work. This is the first time you and I've had this conversation, right? Mm-hmm. And I immediately, like when we sign up a new client for Patient Care Marketing Pros, they get a box. Like we send a box out.
After they pay.
But still, like we send a welcome box, right?
After we've had their kickoff and we are
on our way. It's part of our process.
They get a very nice box.
They do, and the point now though is like I don't just want to send the box out. I want to get a card and have all of our team sign it, like we do at Christmas cards.
What if we did? Here's the people that you met on our kickoff.
I would love to do that anyway, but it changes, and so
but we could keep it generic, right?
Yeah.
Like like a CSM's always going to be on there,
right?
And then the production, like you can keep the production people generic because it depends on the services required. I don't know. Like
here's your points of contact.
Yeah.
I don't know. But these stories, what we're doing right now kind of in real time is brainstorming off of stories and experiences that you've had. Mm-hmm. And again, I reiterate, that's why we bring it to the podcast, is so that as we experience real life things with our pediatricians, with our urgent cares, with our massage therapist, with our dentist. You just heard me say, like, I don't even know my dentist. Well, if you're a dentist listening, develop a relationship with your client, because this is in all seriousness. I don't care if I go to that dentist.
Yeah.
I don't. I could switch dentists today and I would not give a second thought because I don't have any relationship with my dentist that I've been going there for a couple of years.
Yeah, it's just you did the work I paid you for.
Yeah. You know what they send me? They send me texts that say, if you don't show, we're going to charge you a $25 fee. And I show Heather and I'm like, she's like, I've been going there since I was a kid. I was like, I have no relationship. I'm not even from here. I don't care. But anyway, that's not to grieve against them. The point I'm trying to make though is that the experience matters.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, guys, I just wanted to bring that to the table. Like this is a real life experience I just had. Literally, Nick is hearing the first time as well. And so, but it's also just simply the little things matter. Like if I didn't get that card, I would have thought, let's talk about it, because now I started thinking about the whole experience. Like, that's pretty. I'll go back to the 3H thing that you had said. This is what we're going to do. This is what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. This is what we did, and they actually did it.
Here's what's going to happen. Here's what's happening. Mm-hmm. Here's what happened.
Yeah, and there was never. I don't know. Like, it was just never like, it was so smooth. It was weird.
Right.
Like, just odd.
Well, everybody out here listening has an opportunity to raise the standard to that level.
I really want them on the podcast now. I need to know who on the team, who at their company says this is the experience we want our patients to have.
Well, maybe we need to reach out to them and get it upcoming on a future podcast.
We'll find them.
We will find them. And we'll bring them to you.
We will find you.
Colonoscopies for everybody. All right. Listen, we're grateful that you listen to the show. We're grateful that you tune in every Wednesday. But we would love to have your feedback. That looks two ways. One, email us. hello@patientcaremarketingpros.com. Let us know what you think. If you like the podcast, share it with somebody, and then leave us a review. 5 stars would be great, but leave us a review.
If you work for a healthcare facility, talk to us. We because of the urgent care convention that we just went through, we have quite a few podcast guests coming up.
That's the plan.
We have quite a few we're reaching out to. Like, we have talked. I think there were 16 that we talked to that wanted to be on the podcast, and we're gonna get it all lined up now. But the reality is, they're not just urgent cares; they were vendors for healthcare stuff.
That's right.
From X-ray manufacturers to new technology for the online booking stuff and new EMR stuff that's out. I mean, just super fascinating stuff. So that being said, if you own or work for a healthcare, come talk to us. You may have a good story to bring to the table that you want other people to know about.
Awesome. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
See ya.